Hi guys, welcome to Daily Current Affairs and Revision program from Team Enlight. Today we'll be looking into three topics. The first topic that we'll look into concerns birth and death registration. Uh, as the news appeared regarding registration data published by Vital Statistics regarding the civil registrations in the country. So we'll be looking at two primary things in this report: sex ratio at birth and infant deaths and other key points regarding the report. Then we'll be looking into cable TV rules which were amended recently. We'll be looking into the key points of the amendment rules and what are the significance, what is the significance of the amendment. Then we'll be looking into Chinese space station program which is in news again. We'll be looking at the key points and the increasing space rivalry. Although we have covered Chinese space station, today we'll be covering it from a different angle. Okay, so let's jump in. The first topic concerns birth and death registration. It was in news as there is a substantial increase in the birth and death registrations in 2019 as per the Vital Statistics of India based on the Civil Registration System report. So the article talks about increase in the level of birth registration, which has increased from 87.8% to in 2018 to 92.7% in 2019. Then it also talks about death registrations, which have increased from 84.6 to 92%. 14 states bar UTs achieved 100% birth registration, while 19 states bar UTs have achieved the same in death registrations. The share of institutional births has increased to 81.2%. Okay, now this is another important data which you can use in essay or in 81.2%. Okay, another important context of this report is sex ratio at birth, SRB. So the report says that based on the registration at birth, highest sex ratio at birth was reported in Arunachal Pradesh 1024, followed by Nagaland 1001. These are the only two states with positive sex ratio at birth, that is greater than 1000. The lowest sex ratio birth was reported in Gujarat 901, followed by Assam 903, and then Madhya Pradesh 905. This is important data. Then you have infant deaths, data regarding infant deaths. You should also know that there is skewed representation in the sense that in case of registration of infant deaths, the share of urban areas was 75.5% compared to 24.5% in rural areas. So it basically means that out of the total registered deaths, 75.5% of the deaths were registered in the urban areas. So this again shows the skewed nature of registration. Then, regarding full registration of death and birth, only two states have reported 100% of registration of both births and deaths. This include Mizoram and Tripura. Then, what is the limitation of the report? The levels of registration, percentage of registration was arrived at using the mid-year projected population of respective states bar UTs as per 2011 census. So there might be projection errors. There might be very important from the prelims perspective. Okay, so you need to be prepared about this data. Other than that, you need not memorize this data. Just need to have a context perspective regarding this data. Okay, moving on. Another important news that appeared is regarding cable TV rules, which were amended recently. So the news was about Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has issued a notification amending the cable TV network rules of 1994, thereby providing a statutory mechanism for redressal of grievances and complaints. So finally, we have a statutory mechanism for redressal of grievances or complaints. The article also goes on to say, as of now, there are 100 plus TV channels which have to comply with program and advertising code as of now, which were laid down by the Cable TV Network rules under Cable Television Network Act. Okay, so this is bound to change with the new notification. So we'll be looking at what are the significant points mentioned in the amendment rules. The most important point is that it envisages a three-level grievance redressal mechanism. The first level, first tier is self-regulation by broadcasters, TV broadcasters, then self-regulation by self-regulating bodies of the broadcasters, then oversight by an interdepartmental committee at the level of central government. So this is the three-tier grievance mechanism as envisaged in the amendment rules. Any viewer can file a complaint at the level of broadcaster first level. If he or she is not satisfied with the broadcaster reply, he or she can escalate it to self-regulatory body, from where it will then be further escalated to the oversight committee of central government. Oversight Committee of Central Government will have representation from different ministries and would be headed by an additional secretary of Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Okay. The third tier, that is the Oversight Committee of Central Government, would also take up complaints that come directly to the center. You should know this. So the amendment rules primarily concern grievance redressal mechanism, and these are the key points that you have to know in this context. Then regarding significance, significance is that for the first time we have a statutory and institutional mechanism of grievance redressal in the context of cable TV operators. Then you have a legal recognition of bodies, self-regulatory bodies such as News Broadcasters Standards Authority (NBSA) and Broadcasting Content Complaints Council, which did not have any statutory recognition so far. You should also know that it will bring the television's self-regulatory mechanism at par with that of OTT players and digital news publishers, as envisaged in the recently published IT rules of 2021. So it brings, then in the context of mains perspective, you should know that UPSC can ask regarding regulation aspect. So you ought to know this regarding the regulation aspect. You can read more about the regulation aspect in general, and also about grievance redressal, which is another topic from where UPSC has asked various questions in the mains. Okay, moving on. The news regarding Chinese space station. So this was in news because Chinese spaceship Shenzhou 12 carrying a 3-person crew recently docked with China's space station module Tianhe-1. We had covered this topic sometime back when a cargo was docked into Tianhe-1, but today we'll be covering it from some other aspects. So recently, some Chinese space initiatives have been in news. They include Chinese Mars probe Zhurong, which landed on Mars in May this year, and in last year, China's moon probe Chang'e 5 mission uh, explored moon's less explored far side. So in this context, two things are important: International Space Station again, then you have increasing space rivalry. So we'll first look into International Space Station, which is a joint project between 5 participating space agencies: NASA of United States, Roscosmos of Russia, JAXA of Japan, European Space Agency of Europe, and then you have Canada. China is a not a member, and that is one of the major reasons we are covering ISS right now. China is not a member because of US objections regarding high level of secrecy and military ties of Chinese Space Agency. Okay, you should also know that International Space Station is at a low Earth orbit and its operation life is expected to be till the end of this decade. Another important thing to know about ISS is that it is considered a hallmark of space cooperation, which is evident from the fact that the space cooperation continued even during the peak of Cold War between US and news in the context of increasing space rivalry. NASA, SpaceX, and Roscosmos have been in news for increasing rivalry. This is important because since 2011, a space shuttle program of NASA was withdrawn, and NASA was actually dependent on Russia for its supply, for essential supply of goods to ISS, and also this dependency has reduced due to SpaceX programs, which is supplying cargo recently and is also planning to take astronauts to ISS. Another flashpoint in the increasing space rivalry is increasing Russian and Chinese cooperation in the space field. Russia recently rejected NASA's offer to be part of Artemis program, which plans on returning astronauts to the moon, returning astronauts to moon and later on to Mars. However, Russia rejected Artemis program but decided to join China in setting up a lunar research outpost. Russia has also announced that it will withdraw from the ISS by 2025 and set up its own space station by the end of this decade. You have to prepare. From the mains perspective, you have to know the need of these space stations, their usefulness. We have to prepare for ISS, which will be in use again and again, International Space Station. We have to prepare from the Gaganyaan mission aspect, which we have covered before. We have also to prepare the challenges in having space stations or having astronauts in space stations. Okay, so this were the articles for the day. With more news articles,